we have looked at dividing where you've got the estimating, and then on these, we're looking at, oops, thank you. We've looked at dividing where you don't have a remainder. We've done some smaller division where if you've got 8 into, I'll make this up and it's probably not going to work. 8 into 256. Can 8 go into 2?
No.
No. Can 8 go into 25?
Yes.
Yes. How many times can 8 go into 25?
3.
3 times. So 3 times 8 is
24.
24. Subtract. I get 1. This is 0. Bring down 16. This ended up working out perfectly. I just made that number up. 8 divided into 16. How many times can 8 go into 16? 2. Serena, please put those up. It goes 2 times. 2 times 8 is 16 with a remainder of 0. So I can check. This is the check part of division. So I take the number on the roof, multiply it by the number in the yard. I should get the number in the house. So 8 times 2 is 16. Carry the 1. 8 times 3 is 24 plus 1 is 25. So I should get this. So that's how you do it when you have a 1-digit number on the outside. It's the same when you have a 1-digit number, 2-digit number. It's the same. It just takes a little bit more work because a lot of times you don't know the math facts. But say I'm doing 30. I can think of it as 3s. I don't know my 30s, but I do know 3. So 30 going into 41. Well, I may not know that, but I can think of it as how many times can 3 go into 4? One time. So then 30 can go into 40 one time. So 30 times 1 is 30. So that's how they were able to figure this out. 1 times 30 is 30. Subtract it, you get 11. Your remainder after you subtract always has to be smaller than your number on the outside. If it's not, then you mess up. So there's no other number. There's nothing else here to bring down. So now you're finished. So that's where the remainder comes from. So here when they're checking, you take your number on the roof, multiply it by the number in the yard. 30 times 1, you get 30. Then you add your remainder. So what they did was 30 times 1 is 30 plus your remainder. 0 plus 1 is 1. Stop that. 3 plus 1 is 4. 41. So it checked out where the number on the inside is. So we can do this one together. 80 divided by 30. So this one, your first number is the one that goes inside that bracket, inside the house. 80 divided by 30. So one thing I can do to make this one easier on myself. What can I do to make this one easier on myself, Caitlin?
You can make the 80 into the 60.
Okay, well, if I'm estimating, I can. So I can do, if I want to estimate and get a roundabout answer, I can do approximately and say that my answer might be somewhere around 2. That's gonna to estimate. It's gonna be about 2, or make it a 90 and say, okay, it's gonna be somewhere around 2 or 3. But to really truly work it, is there something that I can do to these two numbers to make it really, really easy on myself to go ahead and work it? Selena. Okay, so if I make the 30 a 3, what do I have to do to the 8? Make it an 8. What I do to the outside, I have to do to the inside. That's why I couldn't do it up here. I can't take the 0 off of this because there's no 0 up here. See, I couldn't do it up here. So I had to leave it a 30. It had to stay 30 into 41 because there was no 0 to take off. So now it's a lot easier to look at it as 3 divided into 8. So how many times can 3 divide into 8? Yes, Rory? 3 times 6 equals 18. 2 times. 3 goes into 8. 2 times. 2 times 3 is 6. 8 minus 6 is 2. So this remainder is less than your divisor, so you're good. So it's 2 with a remainder of 2. So is this making sense? Sit up. So is this making sense? Yes, no, maybe? So to check it, you take 3, multiply it by 2, you get 6, then you add your remainder. You get 8. So when you do this, you should get your number in the house. If you don't get it, you messed up somewhere. Kirsten. Okay. So if okay. So the first thing you're going to do when you write it, what number goes on the outside? 50. So then 71 goes on the inside. Can you take the 0 off?
No.
No. Because there's no 0 on the inside. How many times can 50 go into 71? 1 time. Because what happens if you have 50 twice? It's 100, and it's too big. You can't subtract it. So where does that 1 go? Where does it go? Yes.
On top of the 7.
If I put it here, then that means that 50 goes into the 7. Over the 1. It doesn't go here. It goes there. 50 can't go into 7, but 50 can go into 1. 71. 1 times 50, 50. Number placement is very important, especially when we start getting into decimals.
I don't know why. There you are. Trying to give myself some more room. I was running out of room to write.
1 minus 0,
1.
1. 7 minus 5,
2.
2. So should I be concerned that that remainder is kind of big?
No.
Why? Rory,
Because 21 is not there.
because 21 is not bigger than 50. It's big, but it's still smaller than your divisor. As long as it's smaller than your divisor, my remainder could be 49. And as long as it's smaller than this, as long as it's smaller than my divisor, it just can't be equal or larger. So it's 1 with a remainder of 21. Now I can check it. So 50 times 1 is 50 plus 21. 0 plus 1 is 1. 5 plus 2, 7. Are there any questions so far? Any at all? Anyone? Viewer? Okay. Moving on. Oh, yes? Yeah, were you told by your brother, sister's cousin's nephew? You saw him pass? Oh my, what was that?
It's right there.
Okay, so let's see if we can do 270 divided by 30. See if you can do, gosh, Caitlin, your eyes are, they were going to bug out of their head. 270 divided by 30. See if you can solve 270 divided by 30. Daniel, what'd you get?
8 with the remainder of 30.
8 with a remainder of 30. Where would there be an issue with 8 with a remainder of 30? So I'm going to work that real quick. 30 with 270. And I do 8. 8 times 30 would be 240 with a remainder of 30. Is there an issue? Does anyone see a teeny tiny problem? Nardo's our problem.
You could have gone up 1. See how many times it can go inside 270.
So is there a rule being broken with this problem? What is a huge rule being broken with this problem? Yes, he could have gone in one more time. So do you remember the rule yet that you're kind of breaking? We don't bend this rule like we were the rounding yesterday. This is a rule that cannot be bent. Have you seen it yet? What is it?
Remainder is 30, and it can't be, you can fit it 30
Yes. The remainder is equal to the divisor. You could have gone in one more time. So it should be 9 because 30 can go into 270 9 times. Is there an easy way to, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying this one was wrong, but I'm not saying that one's wrong. Is there an easy, super duper easy way to do this? James. Oh. I don't care.
If you push down harder, it won't do that. You're not going to break it. You take off the zeros on both sides because there were zeros.
There was a 0 here. There was a 0 there. So you could essentially just have 27 divided by 3, which is 9. So there you go. See if you, ooh, holy moly, 643 divided by 80. Is this one you can do in your head?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
How did,
Yeah.
why do you think you could do this one kind of mentally? I mean, I would still write it down just because I don't trust my brain sometimes. It's kind of rusty, crusty, dusty. But just because I don't trust myself. Why do you think you would be able to easily solve this? Why? I keep calling those same people, and I try not to do that, and I still do it. Jacoby, why do you think you could easily solve this?
That's 64 and 8. Take off the 0.
Okay, well, I wouldn't do 64 into 8. I would do 8 into 64. But it's all in how y'all word it, because I'm going to catch you on how you word things all the time. Just like y'all like to catch me when I do things wrong, I'm going to do the same thing to y'all. But with the estimating, you've got 88, you've got 64. And I was like, man, that looks like a tough problem. And then when y'all hands went up so fast, it's like, oh, wait, there must be something I'm not seeing. Oh, there it is. So there's an 8 and there's a 64. 64 is a multiple of 8. So obviously it's right there. So it's got to be something that's a multiple of 8. My gosh. You must have done something in your head without even using any paper, which is that acceptable on a test?
No.
No. Is that acceptable on homework?
No.
No, you have to show your work. So, Morgan, what did you get? An 8 with a remainder of 3? I agree. I did actually, rusty, crusty, dusty, managed to do it in her head. That never happens. So, 80 into 643. So, 80 cannot go into 6. And if you need to, put a 0 over that. 80 cannot go into 64. 8 can, but 80 cannot. Ma'am?
Couldn't you just round it?
Only if you wanted to see if your answer was reasonable, because the directions are not asking you to round. So on this one, they're asking you to really, truly divide it. So if I'm really trying to figure out what it is, and here I can, because let me see if I can word this right. I do estimating when I'm trying to figure out what number will go up here. So I'm like, okay, what I know about my 8s. Okay, well, I've got 64, so I'm going to go, so I want to go 80 times 1, 80 times 2, 80 times 3. So what I know about my 8s, okay, so it's 64. 8 times 8 is 64. Okay, so I'm going to write this. I would never write my answer left to right like that, but we already know what it is. So I know that it's going to be 8 right here. So, but a lot of times when you've got the long division and you're writing it, you're trying to figure out what you've got to multiply by. So if I'm rambling, bear with me. If I had 27 and I'm dividing it into, I don't know, 637 or something, and I don't know a whole lot about 27. I really don't know a whole lot about 27 if I really want to think about it. But again, got this pounding thing going on right now. I may not know a whole lot about 27, but I know some stuff about 25 or 20, or, you know, I don't want to do 25 times 1, 25 times 2, 25 times 3, 25 times 4. I don't want to have to multiply every single thing. So I might go, okay, I'm trying to get to 63, and I've got 27. So I know 25 times 3 is 75. So I know that'll be too big. So I'll kind of estimate a little bit so that I can figure out what number to put up top, what to multiply by. So I might do 27 times 2 just to give me a starting point so I can figure out what number goes up here. Does that make sense at all?
Yes.
Okay. So, because some people will write everything under the sun. They'll start with 1 and go all the way to 9, and they'll make it way too hard. Or they won't do anything at all. They'll just pick a random number, throw it up here, and their remainder is huge. And then, let's see, 54. And then you've got 97. Well, 54 is obviously not big enough. But I did, when I was thinking about, the quarters, 25, 3, I know it was 75 cents, so I might try 3. That's 21. 81. But when I know when I have 25, and I do 4, I have 100. This is bigger than 25, so it's going to be too much. So, I do estimating when I'm doing that. But I don't estimate my whole answer unless it's asking me to. Does that make sense? It's just so that I don't have to multiply every single number all the time so that I can do this. That way it won't take me an hour to do one problem. I don't think I'm going to be able to explain that as well next. Sometimes I have a hard time, doing my words. Okay, wait. Are you sure? Okay. Y'all just pick a really bad time to ask. Oh. Okay, Serena, what did you get for letter F?
Okay, but I got 2.
So she has 2 with a remainder of 35. Do you guys agree or disagree?
Agree.
Agree, I hope so, because that's correct.
So, if you look at it as multiples of 9, rather than trying to do 90 times this, 90 times 1, 90 times 2, 90 times 3, 90 times 4, trying to get all the way to here, I can think about my 9s. And trying to do 21. Well, I know that 9 times 1 is 9, and I know that 9 times 2 is 18, and I know that 9 times 3 is 27. So I should do 9 times 2. So 9D would be 180. That's 5 for 35. And again, like we had with one of our other problems, 35 is a really big remainder and might freak you out. However, as long as it's smaller than your divisor, you're fine. So 2 with a remainder of 35. Then you might want to check it. 90 times 2 was 180 plus 35, 250. Terry says the solution to 299 divided by 40 is 6 with a remainder of 59. His work is shown below. Explain Terry's error in thinking and then find the correct quotient. What is a quotient? What is quotient? The division answer. Find the correct quotient using the space on the right. So, sure, I could argue, which some people would. They'd be like, well, I checked it and it was right. 240 times 6 is 240 plus 59. Yeah, I got the answer inside the house. However, there is something wrong about his work. Rory, what is it?
His remainder is bigger
His remainder is bigger than his divisor. I'm just using big words. You know, I'm just trying to get you used to the vocabulary because I use that word a lot. His remainder is larger than his divisor. It's not supposed to be. So what I want you to do on your paper, solve it correctly on your paper. What should his answer be? James, what was the correct solution?
7 with the remainder of 9.
So 40, and you can figure that out because you think about your 4s. 4 times 7 would actually be 28. So that's 0, 2, 3, 8. What? Oh, okay. I've heard that. I was like, what? You started making me nervous. So, if you do this plus your 19. So, now, again, you know, it adds up like this one did, but your remainder being less than your divisor, you're good. I gave you a notebook. Get it out. No, you're not.